In lesson 53, we looked up at the match function, and Excel 365 has now come out with a new one called XMATCH, and it looks enormously the same. Let's suggest that we wanted to search. Now, what I've got here is obviously all the planets here. I have used the planet conversion tool, so these now aren't just seen as plain text. I've then used this tool here to get the mass and the semi-major axis position. And then what I've done here is these are the Greek terms for these are the Greek names for these Roman named planets. So Mercury was the Roman god, so Hermes is the Greek equivalent. Same thing, Venus, the god of love for Romans, is Aphrodite in Greek. The Roman term for Earth was Terra, or the god for Earth was Terra, and the goddess for Earth was Gaia in Greek terms. So we've got those, and this is the term we're going to search for. So it's quite simple. All I've got to do is the same thing I did with XMatch, which is match, which is XMatch. So I've just added an X to the front. Look up. Now we're going to use this box here to look things up, and I'm going to look up in this group here. Now, if I just end there, then if I put something in here, then it just works, and that's fine. That's really nice, and Gaia is the same. So that works, and there's no real difference. Where it becomes different is that in the match, we had three choices: the exact match, less than, or greater than. Well, they've now added exact match or next smallest. So equal to or less than, equal to or greater than, and this new one called wildcard. Now let's use that wildcard for now. Let's just put a 2 in there. So if I do that, I can now do a search for G and put a star, and what that means, the star means one or more letters after. So it's kind of, this is called a wildcard, just means there could be one letter here, there could be 60 letters here, we don't know. But if I do that, then it still finds G. If I go for H for Hermes, then that identifies there. So I've got ways of doing that. Now, obviously, what happens when we do A? Well, let's find out. When we do that, it only stops at the first one it locates. Now, there is another way of going through that. But what I can then do is obviously I could use P, and now it will give me 2 still. But if I put an R in there, it will skip that and go to Aries, because it's saying, okay, we're finishing this off. So that works really nicely. If I know most of the word, but not all of it, then let's say I've got crone, and I don't know if it's a U or an S or an O, I can put a question mark and then S. And that question mark means this one character. I don't know what this one character is. And that again will find Kronos for me. So this wildcard feature is quite useful. The A one that we tried a moment ago gave me 2. And again, that's partly for the last part, this search mode. So the search mode I can use is search first to last, or I can do last to first, which is -1 in there. If I do that, then it starts from the bottom going up. So I can actually reverse the order. The other way of doing this is to use what's called a binary search. Now, how this works, I've got a binary search with ascending order, where these aren't ordered, or I've got descending order. But as I say, these aren't ordered. Let's go back to the 1. I can ignore that, that's the default, but that's fine. And that's going to give me the list there. Let's now copy this and bring this down to here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort that list. So I've got it like that. We're going to copy these 2 lines down. So it's doing the same thing, but now Aphrodite is in the top, and that's what it's pulling through. But let's now go for Poseidon. So there's Poseidon in 6. Now at the moment, what it's doing is it's doing in the last part, it's doing this search mode, and it's doing search first to last or last to first. This is called a linear search. And all Excel is doing is it's first to last is looking here, then 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 looking here. Now it's found a match, it stops. Now, we've only got, if I select those, we've got, just looking at the status bar down here, 8 items. But what if we had 1 million items? Well, linear searches are really slow. If you've got 1 million items, for example, and you're searching through them, if the item's not in the list, it's going to take 1 million looks for the system to come back and say it's not there. So it's not ideal to do a linear search. You could do a reverse linear search, but again, if the item's not there, it's going to take 1 million searches. So what's this binary search lark? Well, what that is the system doesn't start here. What the system does is it goes to the halfway point. Now there's 8 items. It simply does 8 divided by 2, which gives it 4. So it looks there first, and it compares this with the word we're looking for. If it is the word, then it's found it. If it's not, then it asks itself another question. Is the word I'm now looking at greater or less than? G comes before P in the alphabet, so it's less than. So now it rules out all of these items here. It says, nope, can't be those. So now it's only got 4 items to search through. It's only looked at one. It's looked at this one here. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to change that shading slightly so we can just see that that one's different. So it looked at that one. It's ruled out all of those. It's doing these. It's got 4 divided by 2. So it repeats the process. It now looks at this one. This one is the one we want. It actually only looked at 2. For worst case scenario, let's say that we were looking for the word giraffe, and I'm going to get an NA there, then what's going to happen is, again, it would get to Gaia and rule that out. Let's just remove the boundary around that one. So it would go to Gaia, rule it out. Giraffe comes after Gaia, so it rules that out. Takes these, divides 4 by 2, looks at Poseidon and says, right, is Poseidon equal to giraffe? No. Does it come before or after giraffe? Or P comes after G? So we can now rule out all of this lot here. Choose the right color would help. There. And then as we did before, we're just going to choose that so we can see. It's only left with 1. So because it's 1, it does 1 divided by 2, rounds it up to 1. So it looks at that item there and it says, right, is that item equal to giraffe? And the answer is no, clearly it's not. But it's only looked at 3 items out of 8. And it now knows the item's not in the list, NA. So using a binary search is faster, far faster than doing a linear search. So if you've got a large quantity of data, XMATCH is built, designed to be much faster. So that's an excellent thing to do. And along with the wildcard makes the XMATCH a really good tool to have. So there's a nice one. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at another new function called let. See you in the next video.